Welcome back to High Tales with the Lit Sisters. I'm Nicole.
I'm Marisa.
All right, so what this specific podcast is going to be about is our theories. What we think Easter eggs are within the 4.5 books that we've read.
Yes.
Right? Was it 4.5? Because it's 5. There's a novella. 4.5 books.
4.25.
4.25 books that we have read. What do we think the 5th book is going to be about, and some other Easter egg theories that we have. So, I think we just dive right into it.
Hopes and dreams.
Agreed. I think it's both. Or, like, this would really piss me off, but it would be a really good read. So I'm okay with it. I have a couple of those, too. So, first of all, what do we think or hope the next book is going to be about?
I have a theory.
Okay.
Go. I think we haven't seen anything on the continent.
We have not.
We know Koshi is on the continent.
We do, and we know it's important because it's in the map, and it's been in the map of every book. So why do we care if it's not till the 6th book that we really could even go there? We've been hearing about it more and more. So
I'm guessing / hoping that this is like somehow Elaine, because we haven't really heard of her as a sister. And Lucien was over on the continent for a really long time. So I think it's going to be the gang goes over to the continent in some way. And we're
going to take this show on the road?
I think we're going to take this show on the road. And then it's going to be about like Koshi like wanting something about Elaine. Like I could just see like because we haven't heard and she can see the future. Wouldn't he want that ability? Wouldn't he want to manipulate it?
Something about her abilities is going to come up, and she's going to be needed more.
But also, this is me just really hoping that the next book is about the love triangle of Elaine, Azriel, and... To
piggyback off of one thing I thought that I can't get out of my head is that Feyre's, path into womanhood, let's call it. Like, her path also involved a love story.
Yes.
Nesta's path into healing and becoming her real self, in all honesty, the powerful self that she actually is, also had a love story, right? Elaine is the one who pined over a love story. The two of them did not, right? No. They actually didn't want this. That was the similarity between both of their stories. Elaine had 3 books to get over a measly human that was kind of a fucking asshole, in all honesty, too. Not even a good human.
We said he was fascist. That says it all.
Is fascist, son of a bitch. I kind of hope Elaine's Awakening book has nothing to do with a guy at all. Like, part of it is she becomes herself, right?
Yeah.
Woman power without needing a man.
Okay, so how do you do that without sex? It's interesting, but I don't know if I'd be as, engaged.
Some theories are that there's going to be a little bit of she likes Az, and Az likes her, and they have a thing, and then she starts to get pulled to Lucien as well. Like, it might be a...
Love triangle.
I kind of have feelings for both of you. There could be lots of sex in that. Love triangle on the continent.
Boom.
All right, we can end the podcast now, guys. That's what our theory is about the book.
Well, I actually have this really weird theory. Okay, what? Can we go on to other theories?
Yeah. No, totally. Okay. I think so.
So, 3 sisters.
Right.
What 3s of females are there in, history that we've seen? And we've seen, mythology emulated with a lot of this book, right?
Oh, yeah. I think all fantasy books steal a little bit from mythology, for sure.
I'm thinking this is, the fates. The 3 fates. And maybe this is because one of my friends from high school actually wrote a book about the fates, and I was like, oh, this is really cool.
And you loved the story.
And I, not only read her book, quickly, and then I, Wikipedia'd all the, mythology that she wrote about.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am.
Of course you did.
But wouldn't it be cool? Because, Seer, it's what are the 3 fates? They are, decides the future, or decides who lives, who's born. Or, no, is it past, present, future?
I don't remember. I don't know this story. I didn't Wikipedia it.
Okay.
You're supposed to be an expert.
Well, now I feel like an idiot.
Didn't you take notes? You have notes in front of you.
I know, but I feel like I was trying not to be paper in your face with my notes.
I think the crowd appreciates it.
Here, let's move on to another theory while I look up the fates. Because this is really good.
Well, to piggyback off of your mythology, right?
Yes.
The mythology stuff that you were saying. What?
The trio generally conceived as sisters are often given the names Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Again, I can't. So the first of the three is known as a spinner because she weaves the threads of human life while in the womb.
Okay.
The second is known as the allotter, or the receiver, given the fact that her responsibility includes determining how much life is assigned to each soul and each individual. So it's kind of like...
Death god?
No, the death god is the stubborn sister of the three, given the nickname the unturnable, or the inevitable, and she cuts the thread of life.
Nasta.
So it's kind of creating life, which...
Sarah.
No,
Elaine.
Because she loves... gardening and stuff. Creating life.
Yeah, there's way too much gardening content for that not to be part of her thing. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So she is the creator.
Right.
And then Feyre,
maintainer.
She's like life because she's everything in the middle and she's all 7 quarts. She's all of the powers. Oh. And then Nesta is already the death god. We already know that.
Right. She gave it all back though.
Yes. And I think Koshi knows. Well, I don't think...
But then they said the mother left some, right?
Yes.
So if they are to if it's supposed to be balanced, that's the whole point.
Yes. The fates create that balance.
Yeah.
The mother created the fates through the cauldron.
What?
That's why they're made.
Never mind. This is the next book.
I really hope it is.
That's really good.
Isn't that a good idea?
I hope so.
Sarah, if this isn't what happens, can you just rewrite it so it's that?
Or write it for your next series. It's fine. We don't even want a kickback. We just want to read it.
Well, can we get first dibs on reading it?
Yeah. I would like a copy.
So wouldn't that be cool?
That would be really cool. That would be really cool.
I could see it's like there's still a love story on the side, but that's what it's about.
That's the main... Like, that happens in the next book, and you kind of described the 6th book.
Yeah. So I'm thinking ahead.
I love it. You have to have the whole world in your head.
Exactly.
You know? It'll be that some point. Okay. I want to talk about certain people. Mm-hmm. Okay. We've talked a lot about Elaine in what might be happening, and then the sisters as a whole.
Yes.
I want to talk about Mor a little bit.
See, I didn't really put more in my notes.
So here's the thing. Mor fell off, and that was sus to me, okay, in the last couple of books. And there's a couple of little drops that have happened that I'm like, that's got to be something, right? And if it's not something, I'm going to go crazy. But I think Mor is up to something. Like, I think it's weird that she has an estate that nobody knows about.
Ooh.
Okay? Also, her power is truth. But she has the most secrets out of everybody, right? She knows the truth about Eris and why Eris left her, but she won't tell anybody. Eris has to keep saying Mor knows the truth to Cassian, but won't tell anybody. She's gay and won't tell her family.
Well, a lot of people have done that through history when it's not culturally acceptable.
It is, though. It is. For her family, they talk about all that. My point is her gift is truth.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck that means. We don't even know what that means. Maybe it doesn't mean she's truthful. Maybe it means she can withhold the truth from people. Like, people can't say the truth, or she can mask the truth. Anyways, it might be the whole Az, like, staring at her thing. It might be like Az knows something about her, and he can't say anything.
So Az sees some shadows.
Maybe. And he's like, maybe she can prevent the truth. I think
he's still pining over her, but I could totally see like it being like the reverse where she can withhold the truth or something like that. And like she is an insider in different courts around like the continent and stuff. Yeah. Where like lots of groups feel like she's part of their group.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. And the fact that she spent all that time on the continent. So that might play into your theory about the continent coming into play. I don't know if it's bad, but I know she's up to something. Yeah. And I know she's keeping something, and I just think it's ironic that her gift is truth. Yeah. When I think she's shady as fuck. The Morrigan also comes from Irish mythology. Ooh. So the stuff with the Morrigan, she's a goddess of war and death and fertility, right? So kind of playing off your fates thing there a little bit too. It could be possible that that's intertwined in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. There's another thing. Morrigan is also a shapeshifter commonly associated with transforming herself into a raven or a crow. And then we had the ravens. I don't know if that's connected at all either.
That's interesting. I haven't thought, to be honest, I wasn't really, maybe I should see more and more. I haven't really connected with her very much.
I just think it might be nothing, but she was such a strong character, and then to be these other things and kind of gone. I think she's going to come into play in one way, shape, or form. Yeah. There's also this whole thing about the Morrigan from the Irish mythology that they it gives sovereignty, right? So we heard all these little blips about Rhys is the most powerful High Lord. He should make now he has this death trove.
Yeah.
Trove.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
And Nesta is arguably very powerful. I mean, he lost Amryn, but arguably just as powerful in different ways, controlling the cauldron and things like that, and the sisters all being made by the cauldron.
Yeah.
Could she force Rhys to be king, to make a play for king? Could she grant him kingdom? And this is again just playing off the Irish mythology part of it, but she also grants sovereignty. So, ooh. I don't know. I just think there's things there.
She might be playing the long game where she's in the background trying to
Who
get
knows?
Rhys the crown.
But
she knows that Rhys doesn't want it.
Right. So there's some sort of tricking going on or something like that. Or, there's other theories that Rhys might be manipulating all this himself. He does his little trick of, I was thinking that. I already knew that.
Yes.
What if he does? And he is we chuckled about it, but he knows all of this. He knew Amryn was going to bring it up because he had played this, that, and the other. He knew that Cassian was going to be no, because of this. So this was his way to convince everybody else that they should want him to be king.
So question though. The original king, when people are telling the history about it, they were when he took the reins, it was the most blissful time.
They had
magic
centuries.
Was free. It was and then when he died is when the angst started again, right?
And Rhys has a son, right? Has an heir at this point. There is a path. There is all the sisters. I don't know. Maybe that's the end game of the series.
Ooh, I kind of hope not.
I like your theories a lot better, at least for the next book. That still might be a long game.
That's
Who
probably
knows?
Really far away.
Who knows? And it could be bad. It could also be good manipulation. We don't know. We're not sure.
Okay, let's talk about the future courts of the world.
Okay.
So looking forward, I definitely want to know, who do you think will end up in different courts? Because there's, the question of inheritance, right?
Right.
But looking back, I have a crazy theory again.
Okay.
Okay.
Back in time?
Yes. So thinking of the court formation.
Prequel?
Yes. Court formation. We're talking about millennia ago.
We're talking, this is like House of the Dragon to Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, if you look at the map at the front, there are some courts that are really big versus smaller ones and everything. Right. We know that the humans took a little bit, but if you looked at the island, it wasn't very much, right? My theory is that there used to be in the prison, in Ramiel, in the Under the Mountain, those used to be courts that were taken over. And 2 of the courts, and I think Az is technically part of a shadow court. Because if you think nighttime, and so Ramiel could actually be the remnants of a shadow court. Maybe that's where Braxis is from, is the shadow court. And then the prison, somehow the court got infused into the walls. We kind of assume that from what happened when Nesta got the harp. But that could be some other night.
Oh, maybe.
So, what if these are, these abilities, the seer ability?
Or even, they talked about how gods roamed the earth before, and Fae and humans were lesser, and then the Fae took over. What if those were the 3 points of those different gods?
Ooh, yeah.
That's true as well. You know what I mean? You're talking, because the Fae, the courts were formed. There was time in between after the rebellion when the Fae took it back from those gods
Yeah.
before the courts were formed and things like that.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about could have been the early formation.
There could have been a starlight court.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what all of the little
stars are coming. Starfalls are coming back.
They're going towards the prison because that's where they're all trapped. And that's their souls on Starlight because they're part of the Starlight Court.
Maybe not. It might not even be Starlight Court. That just even if it plays into a different storyline, that could very well be true.
Where those are the souls going back. I think Ramiel is the Shadow Court, and the prison is the Starlight Court. Starlight Night is when all the souls that are still hoping to get out of the prison someday because they're trapped keep going. That's why every year it's less and less because more people give up on getting out of the prison.
Yeah. It's probably something very different than that court-wise.
But wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I think you're onto something with the different areas and how the souls connect. I don't think it would be like Shadow and Night or Starlight.
Why not?
I think it'd be something different that plays into it because they already have that, right? Then you need day. It always has to make sense. It always has to be about balance.
Well, okay, so 2 of the mountains are there. The one in the middle.
No, the 3 are connected in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I just think it would be different than this kind of court system.
Yeah.
It would be like, what are 3s? It'd be the fates or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It'd be something different that has to do with 3s.
Okay.
Reduce, recycle, and reuse! The 3 R's!
I really like that theory.
But they are connected in some way.
Yeah.
And Eris, my boy Eris, he was playing up to that, right? That, don't you just find it interesting, not only that there are palaces beneath all 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we don't know about Ramiel because the Illyrians are too stupid, he said, to check.
Twist the knife. Okay.
I like that one.
So now forward thinking.
Okay.
Where do you think the courts are going to go?
Okay, so I think there's got to be some obvious thing about the day court with Lucien, right? So I don't know what that is, but there's going to be some claim to that court. Lucien's going to find out he's heir and be there. Helion's going to die, and the power's just going to transfer. Something dramatic is going to happen with that. Yeah. It has to. Another thing I heard, which I think is way far-fetched, is that maybe because Tamlin is like lost in his beast form, the magic transfers to the next heir. Yeah. Whatever that would be. Like the magic dictates. Maybe Lucien would be considered that just because he's like the closest thing he has to a brother. Oh. But my other theory on that is actually maybe it's not Tamlin being in a beast form, but maybe it is Tamlin dies or something like that. He has no heir. He has no living relatives except Gwen was conceived by some High Lord on Fire Night.
Yeah, not necessarily Tamlin.
Not necessarily Tamlin.
But maybe an uncle.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe Tamlin is her dad. Maybe Tamlin's her brother.
Maybe Tamlin's her...
Maybe she's related in some way, shape, or form.
Well, she's a lot younger than Tamlin. And his dad died.
I think Tamlin would be her dad.
Ugh.
He didn't take over her. It doesn't matter. It's somewhere in the lineage. I feel like they're related in some way, shape, or form. And that maybe Gwen would be.
I mean, the water wraths are on the Spring Court's land.
Right. Well, she's a nymph.
What, water nymph? I said that the first time too.
Yeah. The wraths are like the scary ones. The nymphs, I think, are pretty. Like, get your fate right.
I don't see ugliness or prettiness. I just see people. So this is so awkward for you.
I see Tamlin and Gwen being connected in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. But does the inheritance go down the female line? So Gwen couldn't take it.
Well, maybe now that there's a high lady. I don't know. Oh. Maybe it can. Maybe it can. It just never has.
Maybe the patriarchy behind the curtain crumbled while nobody was looking.
So sticking with Tamlin, though, I think we all know from all of these podcasts that I am here for a Tamlin redemption arc. Oof. I think we got to watch. We were painfully dragged through Nesta's redemption arc. I kind of feel like Tamlin deserves one. He has to own up to his faults and everything like that. It has to be a true moment, but I think he deserves one. So with that being said, there are some theories about who Tamlin's mate are. So one that I heard was Amarantha was his mate, and he was rejecting it, right? So all of this was like punishment because he wouldn't accept the bond.
I could see her getting vengeance, though. That's why she was so pissed at him.
Right. And he knew, because we said all bonds are not good. You know, Reese's dad and mom, right? It wasn't a good one. I don't think Baron and we don't know her name. Nameless mom, Lucian's mom.
No.
I don't think they're mates. The other one I heard...
That was a political marriage.
The other one I heard was Tamlin's mate is Elaine, and Lucien was, like, covering it up. I don't buy that, though, because we have so much more evidence of, you know, Lucien, like, his heart breaking every time he's in the room with her. I think they really are mates. We'll get to that one in a little bit.
Which I like the idea of, if he takes day court, that she would be the lady of the day court.
Right. You can still do gardening content day court wise. Yeah. The thing is there's like a connection to the spring court because of the gardening content.
Yes, but the sisters are both on the celestial side. So that makes sense.
They are.
Yeah, so you'd want to keep them all on the right side.
I like that one. The other one with Tamlin that I like is that Reese's sister was his mate. And he did get there. That's why there's that random pool of starlight in the spring court, because somehow he was able to save Reese's sister and like transport her to another realm. And there are, like, we need to read Crescent City, but apparently there's some connections there because there's somebody in that book that, like, they even joke about winning a night court, you know, whatever, what's his name? High Lord of the Night Court lookalike contest.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like they look very similar. They both have the violet eyes and whatever. So that maybe that's like Tamlin and her son, or just her kid.
If your mate dies, can you be mated again?
I don't know.
So because that would also mean that, like, if his mate was Reese's sister and he didn't get there in time and saw his brothers murder his mate, right? That would explain his, like, spiral of 100 years worth of depression because he lost his mate, and would be why he would reject an Amarantha is his new mate.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're so disgusting compared to...
Oh, you're saying you're putting them all together.
I'm putting... I like the idea of the... It
could just be a plot hole, but it is kind of weird that there's just, like, this random pool of starlight in the middle of the spring court.
Yeah.
And it could be, like, the connection, right? Like there is an underlying reason why Reese hasn't killed him yet,
so
right? Like, maybe Reese doesn't know, but he just knows there's something there. Maybe
Reese knows that they're mates. He can read minds.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just keeping that under...
That's true. So I like that one. In all honesty, what was the other one that I had? I also think there's a good chance that maybe Tamlin's redemption story and Elaine's could be, like, intertwined, right? The next book could be about both.
I don't know if I want a Tamlin or didn't. Like,
not ready?
I
kind of feel bad for him.
I'm almost like, what if he became the ultimate villain? Where he's just like, okay, screw these guys.
He wouldn't be a good villain. I don't like him as a villain. I want my villains to be real. Like,
villainy?
Yeah, he'd be an awkward-ass villain. He'd be like, yeah, that's whatever.
I just kind of feel like I'm okay leaving Tamlin alone.
No, he's upset with himself that he became...
a monster?
The bad guy. And I think he's, like, not really a bad guy. He's very privileged and, like, didn't see a lot of things. And this was a hard fall to, like, come up from. But at the end, when in Frost and Starlight to Reese, how he was like, do you think she'll ever forgive me? I think he was coming, and now he's punishing himself. He's in beast form for all of Silver Flames. You know, he's punishing himself right now like Nesta did. Lucien is still reaching out to him. I think he's coming back in, and there's going to be something there with that.
I am in real life a very forgiving person. I need to let this go and just let Tamlin be forgiven.
Yes.
By me.
It's time. We'll see how annoying he is in this forgiveness. I could see him being really fucking annoying.
Yeah. But I think he needs to be in torment a little bit longer because he's lazy.
I don't know. Now I'm even a little annoyed with Feyre and Rhys. I mean, there's some things where I'm like, I get it, Tam Tam. I mean,
well, now that they're talking in their heads, they're not as
it
weird.
was. I am interested to see them from a different point of view, though, as well, because so much changed when we were getting Nesta and Cassian's point of view. Right? It's funny that I found them more annoying when I'm reading it from Nesta's point of view, because she's kind of annoyed by them. Right? So now to get like Elaine's point of view, Az's point of view, Lucian's point of view, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it could be different. Lucien has also fallen off for me a little bit.
No.
But I think he's such a good character, so I'm hoping it's like a sneak.
No, he's definitely going to be
something
really in the next.
All right, what else you got on there?
Oh, okay. So I have theories, because now that we have the harp, time doesn't mean anything, right?
Yes.
So I have a crazy theory.
Well, and we can jump timelines.
Yes. So ready? I think, one, what if the bone carver is really Nyx and like Feyre's kid? And he went back in time and like became one of those gods to start, and now like he was the bone carver. That's a stretch. Okay, you'll like this next one then. Ready?
Okay.
Well, because I was thinking
that one didn't pan out. No.
You're not down.
Okay. Next one.
Okay, ready?
Yeah,
you'll like this one. Elaine is the Azriel.
Oh, I do kind of like that one.
So and that's why she's so drawn to Feyre. She knows her fate. She's a seer. She knew she was going to die and everything. But she knew that she had a part to play in the survival of her and her sisters. So she went back in time to facilitate. Because all of those twists and turns happened by direction, because the Azriel gave information.
Which would also explain why she was so catchable for this human.
Yes.
In this like very new Fae.
And it's because...
And like the High Lord can't get the Azriel. Because Elaine's like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
We also did think she's a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also a theory that with the Sarah J. Maas verse, that there's characters from another book series that maybe that's like the Azriel. Because we do in the third Crescent City book, like Nesta and Az, I think it is, are in that book. Just for a little bit. Not a ton. Yeah. But there is the jumping. Probably because of the harp, I'm assuming. Right? Yeah. So there's a theory that whatever that character is.
Yeah.
I do very much think the Azriel is somebody that we know or comes into play in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
It was such a pivotal person.
It was my favorite character.
I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, I agree. Do we talk at all about Az?
So...
like, who is Az's mate?
I think he is the heir to the Shadow Court.
Okay, you said that.
Sticking by that.
Do you think Elaine is really his mate?
Yeah.
No.
No. I think Lucien is Elaine's mate.
Yeah, there's all these theories. I think that whole Az and Elaine attraction, I think is going to come into play where Az goes over unattainable, or pines for unattainable people in his life.
I really think there's something unattainable. With Gwen.
I do too. No, I do too. I think they actually like each other. I think there's more there, but there is that whole thing with Elaine. I don't buy that though.
Maybe he's been pining over. I don't know. I
there is also a theory.
Yes.
That him and Eris are gay.
Oh.
Because there's also a theory that like that's why Eris says Mor knows the truth. Like he is also gay.
That's why he's staring at her all the time.
Not what do you mean?
That's instead of Az pining over her, it's I know you know the truth.
Yes. And maybe the truth thing comes into play, like I said before.
And it's like, I know you're gay
but Eris, remember,
and that's why he gets so sad when she sleeps with men.
What?
Because he's like, I know you're gay too.
I know you're true. I know your truth. Yeah. But no, even with Eris, remember Eris says, I never would have touched you. You know that. Like, he kind of alludes that he said, you would have been safe with me. Right? I think Eris rejecting her has a lot more to do with saving her from his dad.
Yeah.
Than him being evil.
Yeah.
And so it does kind of make sense. Like, what is the way that she would know she would be safe? Is that if he knows who she is and she knows who he's like, hey, I don't like you either. I'll protect you, you know?
Yeah.
So there might be something there as well.
I do, whether he's gay or not. I do think there's something to, he didn't touch her or, like, quote unquote, help her.
Yeah.
But he didn't touch her because he knew if he did, the Autumn court would have, quote unquote, taken responsibility for her.
Right.
And she would be within Baron's reach.
Right.
And so he did that to protect her from Baron. I actually like that, and I could see me being more interested in Eris if I found that out.
Yeah.
My question is, if Moore knew that, then why does she care now?
I don't know. That's the thing.
It's like, at least write a note to somebody to come save me.
I feel like somebody in this group is going to turn
Evil?
Yeah.
Okay, if one person in this group turns evil, who do you think it would be?
More.
Really?
Yeah. Just because there's so much shadiness there. Mm-hmm. Lucien's a lovable, like, friend.
Yeah.
I think Az would be too obvious because he's secretive, and I think he's just a big teddy bear. We know it's not Cassian, and it's not Nesta.
No.
My acupuncturist thinks it's Reese.
Oof.
And Feyre's, like, dragged into it because of their death bond. Right? Like, she can't fight against him because she would die too. Like, that becomes part of the thing.
Oh, man. So then they start hating each
See, that's
other.
one of those theories that, like, I don't like, but it would be really good to read.
I would read the shit
I
out
would
of
be
that.
really emotional and, like, torn and all of that. I hope that's not what it is, but I would also not be disappointed.
I have a thought that's probably you're not going to like.
I already hate you.
What if Amryn goes dark and pulls Reese in? Because she technically sacrificed herself, went into the cauldron. She originally thought because when she gets into herself, she forgets everything.
Yeah.
So it could have altered her
Maybe
personality or
reaction.
something. Well, not a delayed reaction, but she kind of pulled away from everything.
I feel like that one's kind of like Az because I feel like it's almost too obvious.
Well, if you think about it, she's used to being so powerful.
Yeah.
She hardly has any power. And so now she is
Manipulation
probably
is her power.
going to become a quote-unquote witch, which is draw more powers out of the world.
Like conjuring.
Yes. And so now the sisters were made to rebalance. Mm-hmm. So the cauldron, the mother knew what was going to happen.
Right.
So the three sisters were made close to Amryn because it foretold that Amryn would draw too much magic and become too powerful of a witch, and they needed to rebalance.
So, okay.
If Amryn goes dark.
Piggybacking on that, there was another thing I was thinking that Mama Archeron maybe was partially Fae. Right? Because think of this. She had 3 daughters. All 3 emerged when they went through the cauldron or were made with powers that were not common of High Fae.
From Forgotten Courts. I swear to God, we have to get that in somewhere, Sarah. Let's get this, man.
But part of me was like, maybe there's some sort of connection with Mama Archeron, right? So maybe with the Amryn theory, like maybe she is an old god that fell in love with a human. I don't know.
Ooh.
Maybe she's a villain. She was
maybe
a bitch,
they
though.
are an ancestor. Well, I mean, some Fae are
I don't know.
witches.
I thought that was interesting that all 3 of them were born with powers. Mm-hmm. That could just be because they were made from the cauldron. But, like, not all High Fae have powers.
So there could have been an elemental court. So Autumn has fire. There could have been a fire court. Summer has water. Like, yeah, you have a beach, but water is just different.
So where's
Summer
the
could have
4th
done it.
place? On the continent?
Maybe.
And that's
what we
the
find
other
out.
part. There's also a piece of the Dread Trove
That we don't know about
that
yet.
we don't... Possible piece that we don't know about.
Looks like a quote-unquote bone. Like the bone carver who's probably Nyx.
So maybe that is part of it. Maybe your continent theory is true. Maybe that is a 4th old seasonal court.
Yeah. death court. There could be a death court.
But why would 3 of the courts be on this island and only 1 be on the big ass continent?
No, I think my thought process is
maybe Perinthian used to be attached and it broke off as part of this war.
Kind of like our continents did.
Yeah.
And then they split up.
I think there were dinosaurs there.
So I think it's like magic used to run wild. Mm-hmm. And the cauldron and the mother were like, this is too crazy. So they kind of just tried to isolate powers into different groupings to help balance everything. So what if, like, previous, when the world was crazy, then the mother came in and was like, you gods are crazy, get out of here, I'm going to help the Fae. She distributed the powers across the continent and everything, and maybe these courts are everywhere.
Like, there's a bigger world?
No, like this whole, like, in the continent, we're going to find more mountains and stuff that are like untapped powers because, the elemental courts used to be on the continent.
Wait,
but it was all savage.
Highburn was also an island.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a mountain on Highburn that we don't know about.
Maybe Highburn is the death
Maybe
court.
they go to the continent and they see the 4 different peaks and they're like, that's got to be what's happening here. And then they're like, where's the 4th peak? And it's like, oh shit.
So maybe this skews into like more of an Indiana Jones where they're just going around trying to find these palaces.
They do like to steal stuff a lot.
Dude, what if they can like awaken the different courts?
Ooh.
Okay.
I think we're getting crazy now.
Sorry. I just really like this court thing, so I'm trying to weave it into all of our theories.
It's probably my least favorite of your theories too.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, what's your favorite of my theories so far?
I think just the theories about the next book. I think the continent being something at play. I think your idea about the 3 sisters being the 3 fates and the mother being involved in some way, shape, or form, I think is cool. I think the fact that there's those 3 points showing evidence to something else, like I think there's something there in all those spots. And I think mine are like the relationship stories. Yours are the like actual plot lines, right? And the magic. Mine are like, I think Moore is hiding something. And I think Az is going to be with Gwen. And I think Lucian's going to be High Lord of the Day Court.
So we should write a book together. Because between the both of us...
We should.
Well, okay, now, the last time we said something like that, we actually started a podcast.
We actually did it. So they're the authors of Zodiac Academy, the one I just read. The 10 books, they're sisters. And they've written a bunch of books together.
So can we read one of their book series?
You can't handle one of their books.
Oh, is it nasty?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, can we request from them a PG-13 version?
It's like rated R, the OC.
What do you mean?
Like one of those like high school... Well, the first half of it. The first half of it is very... We don't have to record all of this. But the first half of it is very, like... It's an academy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Fourth Wing that I'm reading now.
So you're saying that it's spicy and it's high school kids?
Well, they're not high school. They're 18. This is college, essentially, for them. And they get their powers and all that.
You're stepping that back pretty quick.
No. I mean... Kidding. But it's like... My point is it's kind of like cheesy spice. And then it gets spicy spice. I mean, it was my first gay spicy love scenes. 2 guys. It wasn't bad. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't bad. I would read it again. I would read it again and again and again. Threesomes. I read about a threesome.
Okay.
A couple threesomes.
Well.
So you couldn't handle it.
I had a hard time handling when... They were, like, Nesta was thinking in her mind threesomes.
You blushed yourself out of the room when she gave him the dining room blowjob.
Yeah, you had to bring it up again.
I mean, no.
Nicole Renee! Now people know your middle name.
Did you get all of yours? I did all of mine.
I think Moore has a secret relationship in a different realm, like on
Oh,
the
that could be
continent.
why she's shady too. Yeah, I'm going to the bad side of it, but that could also be why she's shady. I hope that's what it is.
Let's talk about origin theories. So we know that there's these gods.
Uh-huh.
We know that Koshi is one of the gods, right?
Uh-huh.
So was he one of the original gods?
Well, then there's Lane Slither, whoever.
Yeah. So then was Koshi one of them, or is he just a different dude? Like fell from the sky like Amryn.
Was he a god?
Didn't they
I think
say
Amryn
he's a
is
death
one
god?
of a kind. I am staunchly on Amryn as an archangel
So
path. She came from a different realm. I think the harp is going to come into major play at the ends of these books to jump to these different places. But I see what you're saying. Like maybe some of these gods aren't from this area. Maybe they came because of the harp. Maybe that's why the harp was hidden away.
Oh, so the Fae people were the Fae people with humans, and then these gods came, and included in that was Striga, Koshi, Bone Carver, and they were like, okay, let me start taking all these people, making them slaves, and this place is so magical and powerful, and...
This actually is making me think that your whole theory about those mountains being connected in some way, shape, or form, right? Because we don't even know everybody who's in the prison. And are they rightfully or wrongfully imprisoned as well, right? So there could be whole different things within the prison that come into play. And we know nothing about Ramil at all.
Yeah.
Because no one ever goes there. So either on continent... or something with the different points, which were both kind of alluded to.
Yeah.
Maybe both, probably not in the same book.
No. We probably have multiple books of foreshadowing that we just did.
Yeah. But so based on some of the stuff I've seen Sarah J. Maas has said, she posted on her Instagram a picture. I didn't see it. Other people, I saw videos of people talking about it.
Yeah.
Where she was writing the 6th book and it was like a wintry landscape. And she posted something similar to that when she wrote Frost and Starlight. So some people were like, maybe she's alluding to... Remember they said on continent was cold. So maybe more... The whole book's about Moore. Maybe it's like the same time as Silver Flames, but it's what Moore was doing.
Ugh, I hate a parallel read.
Well, it would have been nice to know because we could have just read them. We could have just tandem read them.
Yeah, but I'm not reading Frost and Starlight again.
I do think I like... No, not Frost and Starlight. So that's two different theories, right? Okay. One is that it's a novella, right? And then we're switching to another point of view. I don't think that's what it is. The one that was made me go, ooh, maybe it's the same timeline. It's just what Moore has been doing this whole time. And then the next book will be The War, right? Which is kind of Mist and Fury, setting up two timelines like that. Which, if your continent theory is true at all, that might be exactly what it is. The thing is, when she did it in Game of Thrones, apparently, I haven't read it, right? But apparently everybody didn't like the characters in the second book. So it was just really boring. I do think I like Moore enough that there's probably a pretty cool storyline following her, if that is what was happening.
Yeah. I think my first reaction will be kind of disappointed if I find out it's about Moore.
But I think we would meet so many new characters.
No,
and then they would all come together in a war book next.
I want the third sister to get her due.
She might within this story.
The middle sister is always forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the next book after that, maybe it's Moore doing the same thing. And then maybe Elaine's awakening book is next, bringing them together, kind of like Mist and Fury. And then maybe...
the three
The
fates.
War.
Like the three fates.
Yeah. Or it's 3 books, novella 3 books. I'm very linear. I don't know if Sarah J. Maas is.
I kind of hope she is because I enjoy a good linear. And then we can go back for a 3-book series to, the origin stories of all these courts that have been incorporated.
Dear Lord. Okay, thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, first, let's tell everybody what we're reading next.
Oh, we are reading Fourth Wing. Bum, bum, bum. So we're going to be reading Fourth Wing. We're going to be taking some time off around Thanksgiving and time off from posting around Christmas and New Year's as well. So when we get closer to that, we'll give you exact dates, but we're pretty much going to take 2 weeks around Thanksgiving, 2 weeks around Christmas off from posting, but we're going to read Fourth Wing, and then we're going to read Iron Flame. We might throw a couple other books in there, maybe one little series before we read Onyx Storm. That's coming out the end of January. Woo! So February-ish time frame will be Onyx Storm.
Which means you all will be reading it right along with us.
Yeah.
Because it just came out.
It just came out. It did just come out. Or no, it is going to come out. It hasn't even come out yet.
No.
But I pre-ordered it.
Ooh, I need to pre-order it.
Did you pre-order it?
I did not pre-order it.
Do you have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame?
I do.
You do have those. Good job.
But then I regretted it immediately because I was like, oh shoot, I said I was going to do the audiobook.
So it's okay. We are going to have to look up how to pronounce these things though. I'm about halfway through. Okay. All right. I know this is the ACOTAR theories, but it's okay. I'm about halfway through. Major breezing over names.
Oof.
Like...
That's going to
We're talking dragons, right? These are dragon names and stuff. So it's good, though. I'm liking it so far.
Okay.
Zero spice so far.
Zero spice so far. And you said you're a third of the way?
Half.
Is this known as a spicy novel or not?
I thought it was.
Uh-oh. So spice may be a coming.
Yes. I think it is. It's raring up. It's raring up, but it's taken a long time to get there, which will make you very happy.
So I'll warm up too.
So maybe Iron Flame. And again, every time I see something on it, I just pass it because I knew we were reading it, and I didn't want to. So I have minimal knowledge of things. I thought it was known as a spicy book, so maybe it's all an Iron Flame.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll find out.
We'll find out. Yep, but we're reading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame next, and then Onyx Storm when it comes out, and then we'll know books we're reading in between there in the next coming episodes.
Wait,
we'll let you know.
But you didn't say.
What?
Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Is it Can't Put It Down like ACOTAR was?
I think so. Yeah, very much so. I started it yesterday.
Oh, and you're already halfway through?
And I'm already halfway through, yeah. And that's with me stopping and taking notes and all of that. So.
Okay. We're doing this.
We're doing this.
Second book series, all.
All right. Well, follow us wherever you are. Follow us on it wherever you listen to your podcasts. On Instagram, on TikTok. And thank you for talking high tales with your favorite lit sisters.
Bye.
Bye.